what am I going to talk about today? I actually don't know how fast I'm supposed to be going through here. You're going too fast too. Oh, riding gear. Yeah, I keep talking about like riding gear and stuff. I keep having to talk about things that I have and have had and all that kind of stuff, and what I would recommend. Well, since I've lived in three different climates now. I used to live in Jacksonville, Florida. I lived in Washington State on the west side of the mountains, so it's very, very different from here. Doesn't really get much above 80 ever. It has a hard time hitting 80. I also now live in Texas and have experienced the cold of Texas and the extreme heat of Texas now. It's a lot like Jacksonville, but not as bad. Am I even? Yeah, I am. So Jacksonville is very muggy, which just makes it hard to deal with. For some reason, it just seems more hot. When it gets about 110 here, it's like, anything above 100 here is like Jacksonville heat. So Jacksonville heat's very hard for me to deal with. I've had leather pretty much my entire life as far as jackets go. This is my first real textile jacket that I've worn consistently for a long time. I'm hoping this will go under the freeway. Yes, it does. That was a nice Corvette. I will say having a textile jacket is kind of a must in a hot state. So I would highly recommend textile. Leather is always better, but I mean textile does well where it's supposed to. So leather has high abrasion resistance. So in a straight line, if I took you and I grabbed your ankle and flung you at 200 miles an hour, an inch off the ground, and you hit and you slid, and you just slid forever until you came to a stop because of inertia and the drag against the pavement. Oh, that's an old Maverick. No, that's a Mach 1. So you just slid across the pavement until you came to a dead stop. That leather jacket would hold up. Textile would fall or not do so well. It would probably last about 75% of the time. Or of the distance, I should say. But where do you normally wreck? You're not going to wreck on a freeway or an interstate going straight. Typically, I mean, you can. I knew a guy that somebody threw a 40 at him, and it caught him off guard, and he flinched, and the bottle hit him, and he just didn't know what to do, and it wound up, he wrecked the bike and was covered in beer. And he was okay and all that kind of stuff. He had leather, of course. Actually, I think he had a textile jacket at the time. But either way, most of the time you're gonna ride and wreck in a corner. You're gonna screw up in a corner or a parking lot, or, you know, get down somewhere where there's gravel even. So textile actually doesn't do too bad. Doesn't actually do bad at all. So where typically you're wrecking, you'll be okay for things like that. And that's kind of my point, is the most expensive gear is not always the best gear for the situation. It is a lot like photography. You don't take what you don't need. Take what you do need and take something that is very versatile or goes well with what you're doing. Like these gloves, for instance, are a little overkill. I need leather gloves. I like having leather gloves. I've never sacrificed having leather gloves with textile. My textile gloves still have leather on the palms. They're reinforced leather on the grip. So generally 90% of the time, it's, yeah! That's the KTM guy again. I keep seeing him. So I've always had leather gloves. So these things, I actually got them from, what is it? Cycle Gear. They're actually an old ripoff of some SMX gloves that were originally Supermoto gloves for Alpinestar. So Alpinestar makes, actually, I love Alpinestar gear. They don't make the greatest cut. They've actually been doing a lot better lately with how their stuff is cut, so it actually fits you a little better. But they have never been bad with quality, ever. I've never had anything fall apart Alpinestar wise. I think the only thing that's ever broken on any of my Alpinestar stuff was I had a pair of gloves that fell apart, which I use the crap out of, so it's kind of normal. And the zipper pull on my TZ1 jacket broke. That's it. So I put a key ring in there and that works fine. But these things are pretty nice. Built does a 5-year guarantee. If any of their stuff falls apart from normal use, like wear and tear, they will actually replace it or repair it, which some of the stitching is actually not too well done on the outside, so the second reinforcement stitching, I might send these back to have them redone, but as far as that goes, it's really beauty stitching at that point. They're really good. It's external stitching. You can probably see that a little, maybe. I don't know. Italian gear is the best fit gear ever. There's a Day & Easy jacket that I really, really want, but I can't afford it because it's $300 for a mesh jacket, which $300 for a mesh jacket is a little on the expensive side. By a little, I mean a lot. Like, you're barking up the wrong freaking tree if you're paying that much for a mesh jacket at Cycle Gear. Like, you're a rich person that doesn't know what to do with their money at that point. So you can pretty much find jackets around the $200 price point. I think this Street and Steel was $200. I think I got it on sale for like $180 or something like that. So as far as gear goes in general, you kind of want something that's not going to produce a roll or fold up on itself or anything like that. Oh god, I got the wrong light. So you don't want anything that's going to like fold over really bad. You want something that's a little more form-fitted most of the time. I can understand if you want to like throw a hoodie or something under it. I get that. My TZ1 is a little loose fitting, but you can't really fold it over very well. Actually, hardly at all. I like it, but it's not my favorite jacket. And I understand when you want to do things like look casual and comfortable and all that kind of stuff. Like, I bought this mainly as my commuter / casual jacket, so if I go to anywhere, I look normal in it. If I want to look like I ride a sport bike or ride a bike in general, like, I have stuff that makes it look like I do. Is this gonna go anytime soon? It is so hot out right now. Oh, yes, I get to go now. Oh, feels nice to move. Foot out, let's go. Gear is really, really, really what you make of it. So, depending on how much you have, how much you want to buy, I mean, I always recommend boots, gloves, helmet, jacket. Always, always. And if you're gonna go ride around in denim, I know denim lasts like 3 feet at 75 miles an hour, and that's at most situations, depending on where you wreck. You'll probably tear the crap out of your jeans. You'll get some road rash, undoubtedly. But I understand there is a give and take. You can't wear overpants all the damn time. If I am going out and ripping around and like actually trying to have a really good time, I'll wear my race suit, period. That's just how that goes for me. I have my race gear and my casual gear. I'll put it to you that way. I spent about like over $1,500 on everything I've ever bought in so far, not including helmets. Helmets are expensive themselves. They're gonna be like, a good helmet will run you about anywhere from $300 to $700, which don't skip on the helmet, guys. It's important. So my advice would be work within your budget, try and get the best thing that you can within your budget. If your budget is sub a normal amount of dollars for something, just save your pennies, wait, because that stuff is not going to last. Either way, love you lots, guys. See you later.